Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share them, leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, the first official episode of Monday Night Raw, where John Cena is not an active wrestler. I mean, it is very, very bittersweet. The video package that they played before actually got me teary-eyed again when they had him in the sleeper and they showed what that damn smile was trying to reflect on, just him reflecting on his whole entire career before he taps out. Man, it got me in the waterworks again. Overall, with this episode of Monday Night Raw, I thought it was solid. I think this is one of those episodes where however you want to watch it, you're going to like it type of things. Like if you want to watch it from beginning to end, I think you're going to have a good time. If you just want to watch the highlights of the show, I think you'll probably just get the exact amount of pleasure viewing as if you were to watch it from beginning to end. So yeah, by no means a special episode of Monday Night Raw, just a solid episode of Monday Night Raw, if that makes sense. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of everything, we are most likely going to take next week off. And the reason for that being is that both SmackDown and Raw are going to be pre-taped. And I don't know if they were pre-taping this coming SmackDown and next week's SmackDown, or they just did next week's SmackDown, which is kind of wild if they did 3 tapings of television on today's episode of Monday Night Raw, or if they're going to do the Raw taping on Friday. I don't know. It was really, really confusing because I saw some highlights from SmackDown and I was seeing some stuff from Raw as well. But yeah, they're both going to be pre-taped. And it's kind of like the same situation when it comes to a SmackDown before PLE. The viewership just isn't there, right? Because a lot of people have already looked up the spoilers, already know what's going to happen, and they don't really need to see analysis for it. So we're going to sleep on it. It's also the Christmas week. So again, it's just going to be something that we're going to wait to see on. But either way, most likely the week after Christmas, we will be back to covering Raw and SmackDown fully, along with some other things as well. We're going to really try to tackle the wrestling a little bit more in 2026 as we head into the new year. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get into the nitty-gritty of these of this review. Again, this isn't going to be a play-by-play of the whole entire episode of Monday Night Raw, just some of the key points here and there that I thought were worthy to talk about, just kind of things that really stood out to me. It's not really a proper review by any means. It's more, we're kind of at the bar having a drink and we're just shooting the shit when it comes to this episode. And so with that, we're going to kick off talking about Gunther, because he kicked off this episode of Raw. And, I was kind of hoping it would be like a Roman Reigns style type of thing, and it didn't match up to that precisely, but man, when his music hit, the boos that came across from him, I was kind of hoping again to reminisce it completely, when Taker retired and, everyone was going, thank you, Taker, and then Roman's music hit and then the boos happened. I was kind of hoping we'd get a thank you, Cena, but Hershey just wasn't about that. But yeah, as soon as Gunther's music hit, there was a loud boos and the big that smug grin that Gunther was having. He was just celebrating. I was kind of hoping that it was super short and sweet. Again, like the Roman Reigns one, where, this is my yard now. But, when they were going, you tapped out, I kind of wanted Gunther to just go, and so did John Cena. Mic drop, and then just walk away. But I also really like the whole, I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. And then he's going around, he's going on the announce table, cheering himself, going from rope to rope. He says it again on the mic as he's walking out. I don't understand why you kick him out. Like he's a heel. Of course he's going to. Like if you really want to punish Gunther, have him face someone, Like I'm sure you got some monsters that are some good. No, you got rid of Braun Strowman. Who's another monster that's a face that could match Gunther in a lot of ways? I guess there really isn't anyone. Wow, we need to work on that. We need to get some babyface monsters on here on Monday Night Raw to match up with Gunther. That's just some form of a punishment as he's walking around Seth and Pierce going, you know what? You're an asshole. You can leave. No, just say, okay, no, we're going to put you in a match and you're going to face both Otis and Akira Tozawa. Or throw in R-Truth there too. He was also part of the package when Gunther was walking out. That didn't really sit right with me. But, one of my predictions, and the first video of 2026 is going to be my WrestleMania 42 predictions. And on that, one of the matches I have is a career-threatening match between Gunther and AJ Styles. And I think we may have kicked it off here because Gunther goes out. He does leave the arena. And AJ Styles is just sitting at his car, which is kind of like, how did you know he was going to be at his car? And he's sitting there. And then he goes, you got something to say? No, go ahead and leave, bruh. He gets in the car and goes, hey, AJ. And that whole time, and he's doing the whole arm thing. He was so pleased with himself. I couldn't help it. I was dying laughing. It really, really cracked me up. And then we move into the New Day versus the Usos. Very fun match. It kind of went as we expected. The Usos win. Pretty, not convincingly. It was a good back and forth, solid match. 1, 2, 3, Usos win after the 1D. We assume now, we even had an interview later on with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee with them going, yeah, we'll take on the Usos. I would assume it's going to be on that January 5th episode. I mean, I know we have the women's tag team title match between the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. We knew that was the direction they were going in. But, you know, we can throw in another tag team title match in there too. But yeah, good match overall. No notes on the start of this episode of Raw when it comes to the opening match, when it comes to the opening promo. Again, that video package with John Cena was really good too. I had a very good time with it. As for some of the other segments that were happening on this, there wasn't a whole lot of like promo. Like there was a lot of talking in this show for sure. Like we had the Punk promo, which was absolutely fantastic. Arguably his best promo ever since he's came back. Definitely since the WrestleMania 40 when he was in Chicago and he was hurt, and him and Drew and Seth had that back and forth with each other. That was pretty good. I did enjoy that. But you know, this one where, you know, he takes the logo off because he's going to be super serious, and he's talking about, I've been hurt. You want to fight 2011 CM Punk. You can't handle 2025 CM Punk because you need all this help. You're whining about me, almost breaking your neck in war games. It's not board games. It's war, son. And like how you need all this help. You need a masked man to come and beat you up. You need a tsunami. You need all these things for you to 1, 2, 3 me. So therefore, now it's going to be a proper match. You don't stand a chance at all. Really enjoyed everything that he was saying and how he made it personal too. Like if you talk about my wife again, this would go from business to personal really quick. And then he's talking about how he's going to take his eye out and pee on his IQ. I was like, Jesus, I don't think this is PG. And then he finished it off with the whole, you could bring your dad, you could bring his even dumber brother with him, or some of the lines like that. And then I just know Scott and I can't remember. And Rick are just sitting there like, what do you say F me for? Like the 50 Cent meme to it. But yeah, that was also really good. In a way, it caps off at the end with Braun Breaker spearing Punk after everything's revealed with the masked man. And he's going, if you ever bring my family up again, this will go from business to personal really quick. So I would assume maybe not next week, but the week after that, because I didn't read anything of what happening next week between a face-off between Punk and Breaker. But I would assume that maybe the final Monday before, when we are live again, we do have a face-to-face between them. And, you know, it will go to personal. That would just get us more amped up for that first 2026 show on Netflix. Really looking forward to that. Very good promos there. As for other promo stuff, we had the Braun Breaker before Punk, and he's saying, like, if Punk's here, I'm going to beat him up. I can't recall anything else that happened in the ring. Rhea Ripley almost had a promo segment as well, but then she got missed by Asuka. We're going to do that match next week. Again, I'm glad that the women's tag team titles are actually getting stories. I get this. This is a tag match I actually want to see. Sometimes where, you know, the match gets announced, I'm like, ooh, I'm looking forward to it. Like Charlotte and Alexa versus the Kabuki Warriors. There was some story within that, sure, but, you know, when the match was happening, I was like, yeah, I like all the talent involved, so I'm looking forward to the match, but I don't really know to the full extent why they're fighting, as opposed to they just want the titles. With this one, with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, there is depth there. There is story there. We didn't really need a promo segment because we already all understand. Yes, the titles are on the line, but there is so much more at stake besides that, which gives me, that really gives us to key in on it a little bit more. And I believe this is the second time they're going to be fighting, because the first time they fought was Clash in Paris, or no, it was Crown Jewel was the last time they did it. But yeah, then we had the Nikki promo after Stephanie versus Raquel Rodriguez. Fine match for what it was, but yeah, no finish on there. There was a DQ, Nikki coming out, beating them both up, and then she has a promo afterwards after the AJ Styles and Dragon Lee stuff on there. Got me fired up. Again, I like heel Nikki quite a bit. I really do. I just wish, there was at least a finish on there. Stephanie could have won and then Nikki could have came out later. It's just, why let them fight for 10 minutes if you're going to just ruin the match anyway? And shouldn't you be more mad at Raquel than Stephanie? Like, yeah, she did attack Raquel, so that's good. And also, while Nikki's beating up Raquel, why didn't Liv and Roxanne come out then? I know Liv doesn't really mean that she's happy for Raquel to get the one-on-one match, but, there was just some things in there I just felt like it was somewhat of a cluster F in some ways. I'm trying not to cuss because I already cussed quite a bit earlier on in this video. But yeah, again, overall, match was fine, right? It's just the finish I wasn't a huge fan of. Same with Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. This goes back to my issues that I was kind of talking about with the women's tag team titles, right? There's an actual story in depth within there, right? Ivy and Maxine, there is not. Yeah, sure, they had the history before where they were a tag team. But, again, Ivy hasn't been featured on television within months, and then she just comes back and just gets a title match. Maxine has been out training with Natalya. I think, again, the call is until Becky wants to try to go for her title again, if that is the direction that they want to go in, then I think you bring Natalya in. You actually have her featured on television, not just within the vignettes. She should be there by the side of Maxine Dupree during the matches, too. I don't know why Natalya wasn't there to help her. And then, cost her and, hurt her afterwards. Like, after she gets a few wins, oh, you're at a high, and then beats her up. Then, again, there's that depth that we are talking about when it comes to these titles that we need. Because, yes, we had 2 title matches on the show, but did they feel epic? No, because again, there really wasn't a whole lot of story to invest in while watching it. As for the main event, because that's the only other thing that I really care to talk about this one, because I'm really struggling to think of anything else that happened. We had the Javon Evans stuff with the Grandes. That's happening next week. I think that's it. There's only the main event left. Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Again, fine match for the most part. But, it's all about the finish, right, that we want to talk about. Masked Man comes out, gives him the curb stomp, goes out into the crowd. Because CM Punk comes out because he said he was going to help Rey Mysterio. He didn't do the best job of it. But he comes out, and then he goes into the crowd, and he thinks, okay, this is the time I'm going to reveal myself. Because I guess he heard Adam Pearce tell Paul Heyman, I want to know who it is by the end of the night, because they have a nice little back and forth before, like, who is it? It's Seth Rollins. No, it's Bruno Sammartino. And then it turned out to be Austin Theory. Doesn't do a whole lot for me. I've talked about this multiple times. Austin Theory as a heel doesn't really do anything for me anymore. I think the plan that we should do with him is to go babyface. Again, if you see his out of character work, I guess his real self, like on TikTok, he does these motivational posts that he does pretty well with. The way that he acts with children when he doesn't have to be a heel, it just comes off more natural. He just seems like he comes off naturally as a good guy, as opposed to the heel where it does feel like a character. He's playing a caricature on TV as opposed to playing a character, because that's just not who he is. So again, I'm willing to give it a chance, right? Because some of his moves I do enjoy. I like his body of work quite a bit. But, he's been a heel for so long. I was really excited for A-Town Down Under to break up back at WrestleMania 40, because I thought, okay, yeah, Austin Theory as a face could work a lot better as a heel. But now we're going to stick him back to being a heel because he's going to be part of the vision, or in some ways part of the vision, because Paul Heyman's saying he's not with us. So we will see, and he didn't align himself with them whatsoever. But again, overall, when the reveal happened, it didn't really do much for me, because again, Austin Theory as a heel just doesn't work for me anymore. It doesn't move the needle. It's just going to be a wait and see type of thing. But yeah, again, overall, fine episode of Monday Night Raw. But yeah, the Gunther stuff's a highlight. The Punk promo is a real highlight. And yeah, even though it didn't do much for me, but the Austin Theory stuff's a highlight for me too. Again, what we did post-match angle with Raquel and Stephanie was actually kind of cool, again, because I do like heel Nikki Bella. But again, overall, it was really those main 4 things that really got me going into this episode. But let me know what y'all thoughts on it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I'm trying to grow into my YouTube career. Don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you. Also, squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.